Okay, so today we're diving into something pretty fascinating, I think.
Yeah.
We've got this meeting between Macron and Trump at the White House, right?
Right.
And on the surface, that's all smiles, handshakes, the usual diplomatic song and dance.
Sure.
But when you look closer, there's this whole other layer of, tension, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
And it all revolves around how much Europe was really doing to support Ukraine back then, at least how Trump saw it.
Yeah, you really see that perception gap play out in this source material.
Exactly. So, to really understand what's going on here, we got to remember the context, right?
Absolutely. This meeting was happening when the pressure was on. Every global leader was under a microscope to show a united front against what Russia was doing in Ukraine.
Yeah, any crack in that unity would have been a big deal.
Huge.
And that's where the tension comes in. Trump, at least according to this source, makes a comment that seems to suggest Europe's not doing enough.
Right.
And Macron, well, he doesn't let that slide.
No, he doesn't. But it's how he pushes back that's interesting. It's not this, head-on confrontation.
Yeah, it's very subtle, very strategic.
Exactly. It's like he's playing diplomatic chess or something.
So walk us through it. What's Macron doing here?
Well, first, he kind of sets the tone. He frames the meeting as this high-profile, candid discussion.
I see. So he's acknowledging how Trump likes to do things. Very direct, very blunt.
Right. He's saying, hey, we're all equals here. This is a serious conversation between serious leaders.
And that probably appeals to Trump's ego a bit, right?
Oh, for sure. And it makes it harder for Trump to just dismiss him out of hand.
Okay, so there's the flattery. Now, how does he actually address the whole Europe's not doing enough thing?
This is where it gets really smart. Macron doesn't just deny it. He lays out the facts. He talks about the loans, the guarantees Europe's providing.
Right.
But then she drops this bomb. $230 billion. That's how much in Russian assets Europe had frozen.
Whoa. I mean, that's a serious chunk of change.
Right. And it completely blows apart this idea that Europe's sitting on the sidelines.
Totally. And I bet that resonated with Trump. That focus on concrete results, economic impact.
Absolutely. Macron's speaking Trump's language here. It's masterful.
It really is.
Yeah.
So this whole interaction, it kind of feels like part of a bigger picture, right?
Definitely. European leaders were walking this tightrope with the U.S., especially on Ukraine.
Yeah, they needed U.S. support, but also wanted to do things their way.
Exactly. Trying to nudge U.S. policy in their direction without rocking the boat too much.
Yeah, a delicate balancing act for sure. And it wasn't just the words they used, right?
No. The source mentions this arm-grabbing, prolonged handshakes thing.
Which is super interesting.
These guys weren't just sitting across a table from each other. There was this physicality to their interaction.
So what do you make of that, in terms of the power dynamic between them?
I think it shows how complex their relationship was. There's cooperation there for sure.
Right.
But also these subtle attempts at control. Each man trying to establish dominance.
Huh. Like a little power struggle playing out through body language.
Exactly. And it just goes to show there's so much happening beneath the surface in these kinds of meetings.
It's like a whole other language you got to learn.
Absolutely. And it makes you wonder, right, what was the lasting impact of this meeting on U.S.-France relations?
Yeah, did these little tactics, these little moments of tension, ultimately strengthen or weaken their alliance?
I don't know. It's something to think about for sure.
Definitely. It makes you realize how much these personal interactions between leaders can shape global politics.
Oh, absolutely. The fate of nations can hinge on a handshake, a well-placed word, a carefully calculated move.
So much going on behind those closed doors, huh?
More than we can ever truly know. But it sure is fascinating to try and piece it together.
Well, on that note, we'll leave you with that thought. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me.